Hello, and welcome to your first guitar lesson. My name is Bob, and I'm going to teach you a lot of stuff in a very small amount of time. In fact, I think I could probably teach people to progress faster than anyone out there. I've been doing this for over 30 years. And today I'm going to start by teaching you a song, Amazing Grace, as well as how to read music. And we're going to bundle that with learning the parts of the guitar and also how to read music, accelerating your learning rate. And by the time we've put it all together, you're going to know a whole lot more than you did when you first came in. So let's start by learning one of the parts of the guitar. These are called the strings. And watch what I'm going to do here. I'm going to pick the fourth string, third string, second string. Now, the names of these strings are E, A, D, G, B, and E. I used to tell my students when I taught live, not just on the internet, to make up a little sentence. Easter bunnies go dancing and eat. Make up your own sentence. It would probably help you memorize it better. So again, E, A, D, G, B, and E. Now when people refer to the strings, they refer to them with numbers. The top string, top in pitch, highest in pitch, bottom in relation to, say, the floor and the ceiling, is string number 1. Then we have string number 2, string number 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we refer to these strings, for example, high E is 1, B is 2, G is 3, D is 4, A is 5, and low E is 6. So I'm going to teach you 4 notes. Actually, I think I'll teach you 8 notes, and then I'll teach you how to read them in the music. So again, this is Amazing Grace. Watch what I'm going to do. I'll do it 3 or 4 times. I hit the D string, then the G, third string, then B, second string twice. Again, D, G, B, B. And here's how the words would go to it. Amazing grace, amazing grace. And hopefully you're mimicking me out there as you're watching this. What you do, you may want to start real slow. And as you get better at it, work it up a little faster. So one of the cool techniques is when you practice is just pure repetition. The more you do something and do it the right way, the easier it's going to get and the faster it's going to get. So we just learned that. Now, that's right hand technique. And we'll go over a little more with right hand picking in a little while. For now, just I would say hold your pick between your thumb and your index finger. Try to use as much wrist motion as you can. You don't want to flick or things like this. There's plenty of videos on my site where you can delve into that technique. But for your first lesson here, I'm more concerned with what's going to happen with the left hand. What's important, technique-wise, really goes on here. Okay, so the next 4 notes to Amazing Grace look like this. And what that is, we're going to learn now how to fret a note. By the way, another part of the guitar is the frets. That is these. It's called the neck, which is kind of the stick that comes out of the body of the guitar. The body of the guitar, the neck of the guitar, metal things are the frets. Now, the way we produce a note is we're going to press the string down into the fretboard on the neck, placing our hand as close to the fret. Get it? I'm not in the middle. If I had a nickel for every teacher, for every student to come to me from a different teacher that didn't know what they were doing, they were kids or even adults, hands in the middle of the frets, I would. But anyway, and I'm going to explain the reason. I want to stay right behind the fret, because what produces the change in the pitch of the string is the string length is actually being changed, vibrate when you put your foot down. Now, naturally, physics tells us, if you look up the upper right hand corner, I have my finger here, right behind the fret, there's not going to be this extra bit of string right here to kind of break loose and bat against the fret. And that is where these awful, scruffy, yucky notes come from. People are first trying to play. You know, it's because they don't place their fingers properly. You want to keep your finger right there in back of the fret, as close to the fret as you can really get. In fact, I kind of touch it a little, but I top of it. If you get on top of it, it's not going to work. Nice sound like that. And another great tip here, when you produce your first note, only press as hard as you need to produce a note. Another thing I used to see is people, they'd get in the middle of the frets, and they'd be choking that guitar, just trying to really dig in and play that note. But the reality of it is, if you do a little exercise like this, if you look in the upper right-hand corner, I'm not pressing yet. I'll lightly pick, and watch how I gradually push my hand down. Try this along with me. Gradually push that finger down, and as soon as you hear a note, that is all the pressure it's going to take to create a note ever. And if you've got a good guitar, probably not pressing very hard at all. And one of the keys to, playing super fast is to not be pressing hard, because the harder you're pressing, okay, the harder it is to move. So, what do we learn from this? We're going to stay near the frets, and we're not only going to press as hard as we need to. Next, we want to stay on the tips of our fingers. Tips, I mean right up here. I'm on the fingertip. Reason for that being is we need to push the string down. So if we're in the fleshy part of our finger here, we'll do a demonstration if you look in the right. If I'm in the fleshy part trying to push it, it's not going to work very good, because it's really hard flesh of the finger. But if I use the tip, I've got this bony, and here we can use the leverage of that bone right to the end of your finger to get that note. So there we go. Tips of fingers near the frets. Only use as much pressure as you need to. Should succeed. So here's our next 4 notes of Amazing Grace. We're going to play the 2nd fret. All the 2nd fret. 1, 2. This up of the guitar. Up the strings, the frets, and the body of the guitar. We're going to be on the 2nd fret, and we play that note. From there we go to what's known as open note on the 3rd string. Again, our notes so far are 2 on 3rd string, then open. Notice I'm just picking nice and light. We're going to go ahead and do the same thing on the 4th string. Our 4-note sequence looks like this. And you see I've repeated it a few times. But when you practice, start slow and do just like I did, repeat it. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put the first part of what we learned with the 2nd part. So do you remember this? B, G, B, B. There's our first sequence. And now we go. Amazing grace, how sweet sound. Super easy, right? So, and that is how we do that one. Now, next I'm going to teach you how to read music. We're going to start with tablature because it's the easiest form of notation to read on guitar. Basically, the way it is there's going to be 6 lines, each one representing a string. The topmost line on the piece of paper is actually the bottommost line on the guitar. Bottommost string on the guitar. So tablature is perfectly upside down. When you look at it, learning to read it. And the thickest string right here, which is the top string in relation to the floor and ceiling, is going to be the lowest string on the music. So if we were to look for the first note of Amazing, it's going to be the fourth line down from the top, or the third line from the bottom, any way you slice it. And you'll see an O when you read it to represent that it's an open string. Open meaning we're not using any fingers to fret anything. So that would be an open D or open fourth string. So naturally it follows that our second note is going to be an open third string. And you see how that corresponds to the music. And then here we're going to have two open Bs. So you see a little O on the second line from the top of the staff, and there's two of them. Open, open. So basically we have open fourth line, string, open third line, third string, and two open second lines, or open third string. All right, cool. We got that established. Now, how are we going to tell what fret we're going to play on this tablature stuff? Well, what we're going to do is we're going to go to, say, the second fret on the third string, and that would be a 2 on the line, our tablature, that corresponds to third string, which is G. And after that, of course, we'll see an open. Second fret of the third string would be a 2, number 2, on the third line of music. And of course, it follows that the next four notes, or the next two notes rather, would be a 2 and an open. We have 2 open, open on our paper. So let's read it all the way across now. We have 4 string, third string, then 2 second strings, all O's, reading the tablature, then a number 2, and open on the third line, then a number 2, and open on the next line. And guess what? The next one the third measure of our song, or third part I should say, is exactly the same as the first 4 notes. And this is where I come to the accelerated learning part of the lesson. If you're learning a song and you already know how to play a certain part of it, and it's just repeats in another part, skip that and go to the next new part. That way you won't have to wheedle through stuff you already know, and it saves you a lot of time in learning. So what we're going to do is skip the third kind of block of the song and go straight the notes, second fret, third string, third fret on second string. And for now, it doesn't really matter what fingers you use. I'm just kind of introducing you to music and things. As long as you stay on the tips of the fingers and near the frets, if you want to use 1, 2, if you even want us to do 1, this is about reading music and being able to play a song. Not technically perfect. That much at you. So anyway, that's the part of the song that saved a wretch like me. Now we'll go back to our repetition thing. Just go ahead and play that a few times. Maybe start out slow. Third string, second string, second fret, third string, third fret, second string. And then once you get a feel for that, go ahead and try the whole thing. We have first part, then our second part, then a repeat of the first part, and the part we just learned. Easy enough, right? So now we have a new part. It's going to look like this. I'll play those 4 notes a few times for you so you can get a good look. What that is open second, third fret, second string, open second string again. And this is kind of a cool thing. You could just kind of repetition there, and then you have just an open third string. So this is pretty easy. You've only actually got one fretted note. That's I once was lost. I once was lost. So when we put it all together, amazing grace, how sweet that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost. Easy, right? Now as you look at the tablature that's on the screen, wait a minute here, we already know what we're about to learn. But now I'm found. Cool, we don't gotta bother practicing that then, right? And what do we see after that? Oh, was blind, but now. We've already learned that. We've seen it twice already, right? Was blind, but now. Then our final two notes, we just have 2. Second fret, number 2 on line, and then open G, or open third string. So that's basically half of what we did with this little number. So the very end was blind, but now I see. So the accelerated learning part of this thing is really we're looking for places in the music where there's repetition of parts. And we just skip those when we're practicing and go on to the new parts and just spend time on, give each part an equal amount of time. And then later on put the whole piece together. And pretty much that way you've saved yourself playing through, note 1 to note, say, 20, just to play the 3 you need practice on. And that's a real good strategy when you're learning stuff, is isolate the parts into patterns or chunks of information and put it all together later. So that pretty much, I think, sums it up. We've learned a song. We've learned to read tablature, which is only one type of the notation. There's actually a traditional music notation they've been using for hundreds of years. Tablature actually goes back farther than that. Most people don't know that. But first there was tablature, then there was traditional. I hope you have learned something. I thank you for watching, and I'm going to see how long it took me to teach you this. And I bet you it's less than maybe 20 minutes. Have a good day.